Attorney General Jeff Sessions gave an update on the administration's efforts to stop illegal immigration.
Under President Trump's leadership, we are finally getting serious about securing our border. This is a matter of national importance. In fact, we're already seeing positive results with illegal border crossings falling to their lowest monthly figure in 17 years. Now, this is a real improvement, but we're not there yet.
And there's also an update on Mr. Trump's big, beautiful wall. Yesterday, a House panel unveiled legislation for a down payment for the giant project on the Mexican border. It's likely to ignite a spending fight with Democrats that could lead to a shutdown. Congressman Steve King backs the measure, but thinks it should go even further.
I'd throw another $5 billion on the pile, and I would find $500 million of that right out of Planned Parenthood's budget. And the rest of it could come out of food stamps and the entitlements that are being spread out for people that haven't worked in 3 generations. We've got to put America back to work. This administration will do it.
Wow. So, Gutfeld, what do you think about Steve King's kind of inflammatory wall funding measure?
This is not a persuasive argument. That, building a wall, you got to be practical, not political. And this is a guy saying, if you hate the idea of the wall, you're going to hate this idea even more. You're supposed to broaden the appeal of stuff. This is kind of a salt in the wound kind of thing. You want people who are on the fence or on the wall to come to the wall. You don't want to say, hey, guess what? We're also going to take money from this and this, other causes that you like. I say you make it the world's longest strip mall, because then you employ people. It could be nail salons, Chinese takeout, dry cleaner, and always the karate studio. They always have a karate studio in strip malls, and no one's ever in them.
No, just a lot of trophies.
A lot of trophies.
Is this Donald Trump's kind of way he negotiates? Steve King saying, you know what, we're going to do this and this and this, all the Democrats, things that they hate, and then when they negotiate back from there, they'll get the funding?
I don't know. I mean, maybe the White House put Steve King up to that. I don't think so. I'm a little flummoxed because my talking point was not the most persuasive argument for the wall, and they need to be more practical.
I saw that. And I wrote it down.
It was written too big, Dana. It was like the DMV top line.
I could make one other point, though, that consistently across the board, polling for the wall is actually like 60% against. Polling for Planned Parenthood is almost like an 80% popularity rate. Not that I think it should be funded by the federal government, but basically he's bringing up 2 very difficult things. On the food stamp point, if the administration can actually prove that they can get those rolls down, and I think that they probably should be able to, they should do that in a demonstrable fashion rather than just throwing things out there that saying people haven't worked in 3 decades, so we'll take all their food stamp money away.
That is true. I don't think the wall can afford to be chipped away at all. They can't be slowed down. It can't be defunded. If Donald Trump loses the wall or loses momentum on the wall, that really puts a huge chink in the armor and the base.
Well, the money would be better spent securing the borders and ending and destroying the lives of thousands of innocent babies, wouldn't it?
That's the argument for Planned Parenthood defunding. Juan?
What? Are you kidding me? First of all, I mean, Planned Parenthood does so much more than abortions, but if you want to have the abortion argument, let's have it. But that's not what's at the table.
Then they shouldn't be doing abortions then if they do so much more.
No, why can't they do it? Look, I don't want to get into it because it's so emotional, so upsetting. We start screaming at each other. But I just want to say this. When it comes to the idea that you would kick people off of food stamps, and you just say, oh, it's just those undeserving, degenerate people who've been taking advantage. I think, what is going on? You know how Steve King said, oh, those Mexican immigrants, they come across the border, they've got calves like cantaloupes. Well, something else on Steve King looks like a big old cantaloupe to me. It looks like Halloween or jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, my God.
Because, I mean, the reality is that 2/3 of the people getting food stamps in our great country are either children, the elderly, or disabled. Why would you go after this group? I don't get it. And let me just make one more point, Jesse.
Sure.
Guess what states would be hardest hit, Jesse? States that voted for Donald Trump have the highest population of this needy group, and I don't think it's respectful or loving for anybody to go after children, the disabled, and the elderly.
Maybe the able-bodied that are getting the food stamps could work for the food stamps by building the wall.
Oh, my God.
Next, the commissioner of the NYPD makes a heartbreaking plea at the funeral for the officer assassinated here in New York City last week.